Hey there, take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let tonight's story gently guide you into a peaceful sleep. You step gently onto the soft moss-covered path that winds deep into the ancient forest, each footfall barely making a sound as the earth welcomes you with quiet understanding. The air cool and clean, carrying the faint sweet scent of pine needles, warmed by the late afternoon sun that filters through the high canopy in soft golden shafts of light that touch everything with gentle kindness. Tall trees stand like silent guardians around you, their thick trunks clothed in layers of green lichen and soft gray bark that has weathered centuries of seasons without complaint. And as you walk forward, slowly, deliberately, the gentle breeze begins to move through the branches overhead, creating a whispering chorus that surrounds you completely. A natural lullaby composed of rustling leaves and the softest sighs of wind dancing between the evergreens in endless patient patterns. Your shoulders begin to drop naturally, the accumulated weight of the day slipping away with each breath you take, because here there is nothing that demands your attention except the peaceful rhythm of your own breathing, matching the slow pulse of the forest itself. And somewhere in the distance, a single bird calls, once, twice, then falls silent again, content to let the wind carry the conversation now. The path curves gently to the left, and you follow, without hurry, noticing how the light changes quality as it passes through different kinds of leaves, maple, oak, hemlock, each filtering the sun in its own subtle shade of gold and green, while your mind, so accustomed to racing from one thought to the next, begins to slow down here, almost against its will at first, but then willingly, because there is simply no reason to hurry anymore. The wind touches your face like a kind hand, brushing away invisible tensions you did not even realize you were carrying. And you close your eyes for just a moment, letting the sounds wash over you completely. The steady shh of needles moving against each other, the occasional deeper whoosh when a stronger gust moves through the upper branches, the faint creak of old wood bending but never breaking. And when you open your eyes again, the world seems softer, the colors more gentle, the edges of everything blurred in the most comforting way possible. You continue walking deeper now, where the trees grow even closer together, creating natural cathedral ceilings of living green that protect you from the wider world outside. And here the wind finds new patterns to play, moving in slow circles around the trunks, sometimes rising, sometimes falling, always gentle, always present, like a friend who knows exactly how to soothe without ever saying a word. Your breathing deepens naturally, each inhale drawing in the pure forest air filled with oxygen and the subtle fragrance of sap and earth. Each exhale releasing whatever remains of the day's worries into the waiting arms of the breeze that carries them away forever. And the ground beneath your feet is a perfect cushion of fallen needles, pine cones, and small patches of fern that bend softly under your steps and spring back without protest. You notice small details now that your mind has quieted, the way sunlight catches on a single dewdrop still clinging to a fern frond. Even though the day is late, the intricate patterns of bark that look almost like ancient writing. If you allow yourself to imagine the tiny mushrooms pushing up through the duff in shades of cream and pale brown. And none of these things ask anything of you. They simply exist in their quiet perfection, and in their presence, you find permission to exist the same way, without striving, without proving, without any need to be anything other than exactly who you are right now. The wind picks up slightly, moving through a stand of tall cedars nearby, and the sound changes to something deeper, more resonant, like distant ocean waves translated into forest language, and you pause beneath one particularly large cedar, placing your palm against its rough bark, feeling the steady warmth it has gathered from the day, the quiet strength that has stood here through storms and droughts and seasons beyond counting. The tree asks nothing in return, for this contact only offers its calm presence, and you feel something inside you loosen, some last knot of tension, unraveling like thread, pulled gently free. And you continue on when you are ready, not because you must, but because the path feels inviting, because each step deeper into the forest brings more peace rather than less. The light begins to take on the golden hue of late afternoon, turning everything warm and honey-colored, and the wind responds by softening its song, becoming a series of slow, lazy breaths that move through the leaves like a meditation in sound. And you find a small clearing where the trees have left an open circle of sky overhead, and without thinking much about it, you lower yourself onto the thick carpet of needles, lying back so that the earth supports every part of you completely. The ground is surprisingly soft, cradling your body as though it has been waiting for you to arrive. And above you, the sky is a perfect pale blue, fading toward evening, with just enough clouds drifting slowly to give the eye something gentle to follow, while the wind moves through the clearing differently here, freer, sweeping across your skin in long, slow waves that rise and fall like breathing. You match your own breath to this rhythm without effort. Inhale as the breeze rises, exhale as it falls away. And soon, the boundary between your breathing and the wind's breathing becomes difficult to distinguish, and time loses its usual sharp edges. Here, minutes might be hours or seconds. It makes no difference, because nothing needs to be accomplished. The forest continues its quiet symphony around you, the wind moving through needles, the occasional soft thud of a pine cone falling somewhere distant, the faint rustle of small creatures moving through the underbrush without fear because you belong here now too. And your body grows heavier, sinking deeper into the earth, while your mind grows lighter, floating upward on the currents of sound and breath. Every muscle that was holding tightness begins to release, starting from the crown of your head, where the scalp softens, moving down through the forehead that smooths out all worry lines, past the eyes that rest behind gently closed lids, the jaw that unclenches completely, the tongue that lies easy in the mouth, the shoulders that drop fully for perhaps the first time today, the arms and hands that open instead of grip, the chest that expands without restriction, the belly that softens and rounds with each breath, the back that finds perfect support from the earth, the hips that release their holding, the legs that grow long and heavy, the feet that finally let go of carrying you everywhere. With each part that relaxes, the wind seems to notice and respond, sending another gentle wave of sound and air to wash over that newly freed space. And the forest is not separate from you anymore. You are part of its breathing, part of its stillness, part of its ancient calm that has existed long before you arrived and will continue long after you leave. As the light begins to dim toward evening, the colors deepen. Emerald greens become richer, browns turn warmer. The sky shifts to soft lavender and rose, and still the wind sings its endless lullaby, never tiring, never hurrying, simply being. And your thoughts, when they come at all, arrive slowly now, like leaves drifting on the breeze, rather than crashing like waves, and you watch them pass without attachment, letting the wind carry them out of sight. Somewhere far away, an owl calls, once a low, soft question that the forest answers with silence, and the silence itself feels full, complete, perfect. And you notice how your heartbeat has slowed to match the deepest rhythm of the woods, steady and unhurried, each beat saying, "Rest, rest, rest." The evening air grows slightly cooler against your skin, but it is a comforting coolness that makes the warmth still lingering in your body feel even more pleasant. And you could stay here forever, and it would be enough. Or you could drift into sleep right now, and it would be perfect either way. The forest holds you safely, without judgment, without expectation. The wind moves through the trees again, this time in a long, slow wave that starts somewhere behind you and travels forward, sweeping over your body from head to toe, like the softest blanket being drawn across you, and your eyelids grow impossibly heavy. Your breathing deepens even further, and the last thing you notice before sleep claims you completely is the way the forest continues. Its gentle conversation with the night whispering that all is well, that you are safe. That peace is not something you need to find, because it has been here waiting for you all along. And even as darkness settles fully, the wind never stops its quiet work, moving through the branches in soft repeating patterns that cradle your sleeping mind, carrying you deeper into rest with every breath, every rustle, every sigh of the peaceful forest that surrounds you completely and holds you gently through the night. You drift further now, weightless within the sound itself, becoming one with the endless flow of air through needles and leaves, the subtle variations in tone as the breeze finds different pathways between trunks, the occasional deeper note when it passes through hollows in the wood, all blending into a seamless blanket of calm that wraps around every corner of your awareness. Deeper still, the forest reveals more layers of quiet beauty, the way moonlight begins to filter through when the clouds part, just enough, casting silver patterns across the ground that dance slowly with the moving air, the faint glow on bark that makes even the oldest trees appear softly luminous and alive with inner light. If you're enjoying this story, please subscribe to my StoriesVerseAi channel. Now, let's get back to the story. Your dreams, when they come, are not filled with images that demand attention, but rather with more of the same gentle motion, endless wind through endless trees, carrying you along without effort, without direction, simply present in the perfect stillness that underlies all movement. Hours pass, or perhaps minutes. The forest makes no distinction, and still the breeze continues, its patient song, never louder, never softer, just perfectly suited to the moment, always inviting deeper relaxation, deeper surrender, deeper peace. The night deepens, the stars appear one by one through gaps in the canopy, sparkling like distant promises of calm, and the wind touches them too, carrying their faint light down to rest upon your closed eyelids, your quiet chest, your resting hands. Nothing disturbs this sacred quiet. Nothing intrudes upon the perfect harmony of breath and breeze and earth, holding you completely, and you remain here, safe, held, cherished by the ancient peaceful forest, whose only purpose in this moment is to offer you rest, profound and unbroken as the night itself. And so the wind keeps moving softly, endlessly through the trees, through the needles, through the silence, through you, carrying away the last traces of anything that is not peace, until only peace remains, only calm remains, only the gentle, endless sound of the forest breathing with you, breathing for you, breathing as you, in perfect unity and rest. The cycle continues, without beginning, without end. The breeze rises, falls, circles, returns, rises again. Each wave a reminder that all tension dissolves, all worry fades, all hurry vanishes in the presence of this timeless quiet that has always been here, waiting patiently for you to arrive and lie down and listen and let go completely into its welcoming embrace. Deeper now, The forest floor cradles you more fully, the needles beneath you, like thousands of tiny soft hands, supporting every inch of your body. The earth itself rising up to meet you, saying, "Rest, child. Rest, you are home." The wind whispers through a nearby grove of birches, their leaves making a lighter, higher sound, almost like silver bells in the distance, blending with the deeper tones of pine and cedar into a symphony that requires no listening, only receiving, only allowing. Your mind floats free, now untethered from thought, untethered from time, simply present in the vast quiet space between breaths, between gusts, between heartbeats, where true stillness lives. Night creatures move softly in their own world, a fox padding silently across the path, a deer pausing to listen before stepping forward, an owl gliding on silent wings overhead, all part of the same calm, all moving in harmony with the wind that never stops, never judges, never demands. You sink further, the boundaries of your body softening until you feel yourself expanding outward, becoming part of the clearing, part of the trees, part of the breeze itself, weightless, peaceful, complete. The forest holds this expanded version of you just as easily as it held the smaller, tired version that first arrived. Nothing changes in its love. Nothing changes in its quiet acceptance. Everything simply is. Moonlight shifts slowly across the ground, tracing patterns that move with the wind's movement, and you watch without watching, drifting in the gentle flow, letting every sensation, every sound, every breath carry you deeper into the heart of relaxation, where no effort exists, no resistance, remains only pure being, only pure peace. As the night reaches its deepest hour, the wind becomes almost imperceptible, yet still present, a mere breath of air that stirs the smallest needles, just enough to remind you that life continues softly, steadily, kindly, around you and within you. Sleep comes fully now, not as something you chase, but as something that gathers you up, like the forest gathers the fallen leaves, wrapping you in layers of quiet warmth and safety. Dreams blend with the sounds of the night wind through branches, wind through leaves, wind through your hair, wind through your thoughts, until dream and reality and rest become one unbroken thread of calm, stretching through the hours until morning light begins to touch the eastern sky once more. And even then, the peaceful forest does not hurry. The wind does not rush the trees, do not stir themselves awake. Suddenly, everything simply continues as it always has, gentle, slow, patient, perfectly suited to the moment, offering you the same invitation it has offered all night long. Rest here, stay here, breathe here, be here, in this place where nothing is required and everything is given freely. The gift of deep inner calm, wrapped in the endless, soothing sounds of wind, moving through an ancient, peaceful forest that loves you without condition and holds you in perfect safety forever. You remain here as long as you wish, sinking deeper with every breath, every whisper, every soft touch of air upon skin, until peace is all that exists, all that matters, all that ever was or will be. In this sacred, quiet space where the forest and the wind and your resting soul are one, you continue to rest there in the heart of the clearing as the night gently deepens around you. The peaceful forest never once hurrying its rhythm, the wind maintaining its slow, tender caress through the highest branches where the oldest needles whisper secrets older than memory itself. Each soft movement of air creating ripples of sound that travel downward like liquid silk, touching every leaf, every twig, every blade of grass, before finally brushing across your skin with the lightest, most reassuring touch imaginable. Your body has become so perfectly still that the boundary between you and the earth beneath you feels almost imaginary. The fallen pine needles forming a warm living mattress that molds itself exactly to the shape of your back, your shoulders, your legs, your head, while the subtle warmth still stored in the soil from the day rises up slowly to meet you, saying without words, "Stay, stay, rest here, you are safe." The breeze shifts direction, just slightly now coming from the north, carrying with it the clean, crisp scent of distant snow-covered peaks, even though winter is still months away, and this faint promise of purity mixes with the closer, richer fragrance of damp moss, wet bark, and the sweet, resinous breath of the evergreens that surround you completely. Somewhere high above, an owl moves from one branch to another, its wings making no sound at all, only the softest thump when it lands again and settles, folding itself into the darkness as though it too understands the sacredness of this quiet hour. You notice how your own breathing has become almost identical to the long, slow inhalations and exhalations of the forest itself. Each time you draw air in, it feels as though the trees themselves are breathing into you, sharing their vitality, their steadiness, their ancient patience. And each time you release the breath, it feels as though the wind is gathering up everything that is no longer needed, everything that has weighed upon your heart, everything that has tightened your chest, and carrying it away into the vast night sky, where it simply dissolves into nothing. The moonlight has grown stronger now, slipping through the canopy in thin silver ribbons that paint delicate patterns across the clearing, some falling across your closed eyelids, some tracing slow paths along your arms, some pooling in small luminous puddles on the ground nearby. And every time the wind moves, those patterns shift and dance in perfect harmony with the sound, creating a silent visual lullaby that requires no effort to watch. Your mind, when it tries to wander, finds no purchase here. Every thought that arises drifts upward like smoke, encountering the gentle current of air and simply floating away without resistance, without struggle, until the space inside your head becomes vast, empty, and filled only with the soft, continuous presence of the peaceful forest, breathing around you, breathing within you, breathing as you. Time has lost all meaning. Now the hours stretch and fold into one another, the way the wind itself curls around tree trunks, sometimes pausing, sometimes rushing forward, sometimes circling back again in lazy spirals that carry no urgency, only the pure joy of movement for its own sake. You feel the tiniest details now, the way a single needle detaches itself from a branch far above and falls in a slow, spiraling descent, taking its time, brushing against other needles on the way down, finally landing somewhere near your left shoulder with the faintest, almost inaudible touch. You do not open your eyes to look. You do not need to. The forest tells you everything you need to know through sound, through sensation, through the simple knowledge that all is exactly as it should be. Another breeze arrives, this one fuller, rounder, moving through a nearby stand of hemlocks whose soft, flat needles create a higher-pitched sighing sound that blends beautifully with the deeper voice of the pines, and the two tones together form a chord so soothing, so complete, that it seems to vibrate gently inside your bones, loosening any last fragments of tension that might have hidden themselves in the smallest places, the spaces between your ribs, the hollow behind your knees, the base of your skull. With each passing wave of wind, your body sinks another fraction deeper into the earth. Not because you are pushing down, but because you have stopped holding yourself up, stopped bracing, stopped preparing for anything at all, And in that complete surrender, you discover a level of rest you did not know was possible. A rest so profound that it feels like coming home to a place you had forgotten you belonged. The night air grows cooler still, but the forest has wrapped you in its own warmth. The heat radiated by the living wood, the heat held in the thick layer of duff, the heat generated by the slow, steady decomposition happening beneath you, all working together to keep you comfortable, perfectly comfortable, as though the entire ecosystem has decided tonight that your rest matters more than anything else. Far off in the distance, perhaps a mile away, perhaps two, a small stream murmurs over smooth stones, its voice so faint that you only hear it when the wind pauses for a moment to listen with you, and then the breeze returns, carrying that delicate water sound towards you, folding it into the larger symphony, so that now the peaceful forest speaks with three voices, wind through needles, water over stone, and the low, quiet hum of the earth itself, turning slowly beneath the stars. Your heartbeat has found its place within this music, each thump perfectly timed to arrive somewhere between the rise of one gust and the fall of the next, creating a rhythm so natural, so effortless, that you no longer feel like a separate being. Listening to the forest, you feel like an inseparable part of the same living, quiet pulse. The stars overhead burn with a steady silver light, seen only in glimpses through the moving canopy. And each time a gap opens in the branches, a single bright point of light touches your face for a moment, like the softest fingertips saying, "Look, there is beauty here, there is calm here, there is forever here. If you want it, you want it." You let yourself want it completely, without reservation, without the old familiar voice that used to say you should be doing something else, being somewhere else, achieving something more. That voice has grown so small here, so distant, so quiet, that it sounds like the faintest echo from another life, another time, another person who is no longer you. The wind moves again, this time in a long, luxurious sweep that starts somewhere deep in the forest, travels toward you, passes over you, and continues on the other side, carrying with it the scent of cedar and the memory of every peaceful moment that has ever happened beneath these trees. Your thoughts, when they come now, are slow and gentle, like clouds drifting across an empty sky. They arrive, they linger for a breath or two, and then they drift away again, leaving behind only more space, more quiet, more room for the forest to fill you with its presence. You notice the way your hands have opened completely, palms facing upward, resting on the needles as though receiving something invisible and precious from the night itself. Perhaps the gift of forgiveness, perhaps the gift of release, perhaps the simple gift of being allowed to do nothing at all for as long as you wish. The forest approves of this openness. It responds by sending another soft current of air across your open palms, a touch so delicate it feels like silk made of moonlight, and you allow yourself to smile, the smallest possible smile, the kind of smile that requires no effort, the kind of smile that simply happens when everything inside has finally come to rest. Hours continue to pass, or perhaps they do not pass. Perhaps they simply exist in a single eternal, now where beginning and ending have no meaning, where the wind has always been singing and will always be singing, where the trees have always stood, watch and will always stand watch, where you have always belonged, exactly here, exactly now, exactly like this. The moon travels slowly across the sky, its light changing quality as it moves from silver to pale gold to softest ivory, and each change brings a new shade of calm, a new layer of peace, a new depth of relaxation that settles over you like another blanket woven from starlight and silence. Your legs feel so heavy now, so wonderfully heavy, as though roots have grown gently downward from your feet, connecting you to the deep heart of the earth, where everything is slow, where everything is steady, where everything has already been taken care of for thousands upon thousands of years. The peaceful forest does not ask you to believe in anything. It simply shows you, through every rustle, every sigh, every breath of wind, that peace is not something you must earn. It is something you are allowed to receive freely, generously, endlessly. And so you receive it. You receive it with every cell of your body, with every quiet beat of your heart, with every slow rise and fall of your chest, with every thought that drifts away, unanswered, with every worry that never arrives, with every fear that forgets to show up. The night reaches its deepest, quietest moment, the time when even the smallest night creatures seem to pause their activities, as though the entire forest is holding its breath together. And in that shared stillness, you feel more connected, more whole, more completely at peace than you have ever felt before. If you're enjoying this story, please subscribe to my StoriesVerseAi channel. Now, let's get back to the story. Then, the wind returns soft as a lullaby, moving through the branches once more, reminding everything that it is safe to continue, safe to breathe, safe to rest, safe to simply be. You let go of the last tiny thread of awareness that was still keeping track of time, keeping track of yourself, keeping track of anything at all. And you fall completely into the arms of the peaceful forest, the arms of the wind, the arms of the night, the arms of pure, deep, unending calm. Sleep comes now, not as a separate thing, but as the natural next breath of the same continuous relaxation that has been carrying you all along. And you drift deeper, 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 carried by the endless, gentle song of wind, moving through an ancient, peaceful forest that has loved you from the moment you arrived and will continue to love you, hold you, soothe you, heal you, long after the stars have faded and the sun has risen once again to touch the treetops with morning light. And even then, the peace you have found here does not leave you. It travels with you, soft and quiet and steady inside your heart, like the memory of wind that never quite stops whispering. Its promise that all is well, all has always been well, and all will always be well in this sacred, timeless space where you are forever welcome to return whenever you need to remember who you truly are. You remain enveloped in that perfect cradle of the forest floor as the night stretches onward in its slow, unhurried way, each minute bleeding softly into the next, until the very concept of minutes feels irrelevant, replaced instead by the continuous gentle tide of wind moving through the ancient canopy above you. The breeze has found a new cadence now, one so measured and tender that it seems to arrive in long, slow inhalations that lift the smallest needles and exhale in sighing descents that let them settle again, over and over, a breathing pattern so vast it encompasses the entire woodland and invites your own lungs to follow the same spacious rhythm without the slightest force or intention. Your chest rises when the wind rises, falls when the wind falls, and between these movements there exists a stillness so complete it feels like the silence before creation itself. A silence that has been here since the first pine seed took root centuries ago and will remain long after the last leaf has dropped. The air grows noticeably cooler against your cheeks, your forehead, the exposed skin of your wrists, yet the contrast only makes the warmth that still lingers deep in your muscles and in the thick duff beneath you feel more luxurious, more protective, more perfectly calibrated to your needs. You can sense the subtle heat exchange happening continuously between your body and the living earth. The slow release of daytime warmth stored in the soil, the gentle conductivity of the fallen needles that act as both insulation and cushion, the faint residual glow that the trunks themselves seem to radiate after hours of absorbing sunlight. Everything conspires toward comfort here. Nothing fights against your rest. Farther out, beyond the circle of moonlight that bathes the clearing, you hear the occasional soft crack of a branch adjusting its position under its own weight, a sound so small and so natural that it registers less as noise and more as another layer of the forest's quiet language, another syllable in the endless sentence of peace. Your eyelids, already heavy, grow heavier still, the muscles around your eyes releasing in tiny increments until even the effort of keeping them closed feels unnecessary because the darkness behind your lids is the same darkness that surrounds you. Soft, complete, welcoming. The wind changes direction once more, this time sweeping in from the west, carrying the faintest trace of river water, wet stone, and the clean mineral breath of a spring that must be hidden somewhere deeper in the valley. That distant water sound you noticed earlier becomes marginally clearer now, still not loud, still not insistent, just a delicate silver thread woven into the larger tapestry of wind and needles and night. You imagine, without forcing the image, without trying, the way that little stream must look right now. Moonlit ripples sliding over rounded pebbles, tiny eddies catching starlight, water moving steadily yet without hurry, exactly the way everything here moves. Your mind does not stay long with the image. It drifts again, carried on the same current that moves the leaves overhead, returning once more to the simple, repetitive miracle of breath entering and leaving your body in perfect synchrony with the forest's own respiration. Each inhalation draws in cool, pine-scented oxygen so pure it almost feels medicinal. Each exhalation releases the last microscopic remnants of urban tension, office lighting, screen glare, hurried footsteps, unanswered messages, all of it dissolving into the night air to be taken up by the trees, transformed through their quiet alchemy into more oxygen, more calm, more life. The reciprocity feels sacred, effortless, ancient. You are participating in a cycle that has run unbroken for millennia, and in this moment, you are allowed to do nothing more than breathe within it. The forest does not grade your performance, does not measure your worth, does not require improvement. It simply receives you as you are, tired, soft, human, willing to lie down, and offers in return an acceptance so total it borders on love. Another long wave of wind arrives, this one starting as a distant murmur in the tallest firs, gathering strength and texture as it travels, passing through stands of hemlock where the needles are finer and the sound becomes almost silky, then rolling through the clearing where it spreads out, slows down, and finally washes over you from head to toe in one luxurious, unbroken stroke. Your scalp tingles pleasantly as the air moves your hair. Your ears register the soft hiss against the delicate skin there. Your throat relaxes further, as though the breeze itself is massaging the muscles inside. Your shoulders drop another imperceptible fraction. Your fingers uncurl completely. Your toes spread and relax against the needle carpet. Every place the wind touches receives its blessing, its permission to let go a little more. And with that letting go comes space. Space inside your ribcage, space behind your heart, space between each thought that might otherwise have crowded in. The space feels holy, like the hush inside a cathedral at midnight when no one else is present and the stained glass is only moonlight. You float within that space, weightless yet perfectly supported, held by gravity yet free of its burden. Somewhere nearby, a small night bird gives a single, liquid note, brief, clear, untroubled, then falls silent again, content that the message has been delivered. The silence that follows is fuller than the sound that preceded it. You notice, without striving to notice, how your pulse has become so slow and so even that each beat feels like a soft drum struck underwater, distant and calm and utterly reliable. The forest has tuned your heart to its own tempo, and the tuning required no effort, no technique, no teacher. It happened naturally the moment you stopped resisting the rhythm that was already present. The moon has traveled farther now, its light slanting at a steeper angle through the branches, painting long silver fingers across the clearing floor, some of them reaching toward you, some of them stroking the trunks of the surrounding trees as though reassuring them too that the night is kind, that rest is permitted, that nothing needs to be accomplished before dawn. You feel those same silver fingers rest lightly on your closed eyelids, your cheekbones, your collarbones, cool and gentle, like the touch of a mother who knows you are already half asleep and does not wish to disturb you. The wind answers the moonlight with another slow, sweeping pass, lifting the smallest loose needles into brief spirals that catch the silver glow before settling once more. The spirals are beautiful in their transience, tiny galaxies of motion that exist for only a few heartbeats before disappearing, reminding you that beauty here does not demand permanence. It is content to appear, shine for a moment, and dissolve again into the larger stillness. You feel yourself dissolving in the same way, not into nothingness, but into belonging, into participation, into the quiet certainty that you are exactly where you are meant to be, doing exactly what you are meant to do, which is nothing at all except receive. The receiving feels infinite. There is always more peace available, more calm waiting to settle into your tissues, more silence, ready to fill the spaces between your thoughts. The forest seems to understand this and offers it freely, endlessly, without ever asking you to justify your need or prove your worthiness. Another hour slips past, or perhaps only a few minutes. The distinction has become meaningless. The night reaches the hour when even the most restless creatures have found their burrows, their nests, their hollows, and the woodland holds its breath collectively, listening to itself. In that listening, you hear your own breath again, soft and slow, barely audible even to your own ears, yet perfectly in tune with the almost imperceptible stirring of air high in the canopy. The two sounds, your breathing and the forest's breathing, merge until you cannot tell where one ends and the other begins. If you're enjoying this story, please subscribe to my StoriesVerseAi channel. Now, let's get back to the story. You have become part of the lullaby. The lullaby continues without conductor, without score, without beginning or end, only the long, patient repetition of wind through needles, needles against needles, air against leaves, leaves against sky, sky against stars, stars against darkness, darkness against earth, earth against you. Each element touches the next with infinite gentleness, and you are touched by them all. Your body has grown so heavy now that it feels as though it has become part of the ground itself, as though roots have extended downward from your spine, from your pelvis, from the soles of your feet, anchoring you lovingly into the deep mineral quiet where time moves in geological increments and worry has not existed for eons. Yet even as your body sinks, your awareness floats upward, light as thistle down, drifting among the branches, riding the currents of air, touching the undersides of leaves, gliding through shafts of moonlight. becoming for a little while as insubstantial and as peaceful as the breeze itself. Then, without any sense of transition, the floating awareness returns to the body, nestles down again into the warm nest of flesh and bone and breath, and finds that the body too is breeze now, is moonlight, is needle, is silence. The distinctions have softened to the point of disappearance. There is only this, one continuous field of calm, stretching from the center of the earth to the farthest visible star, and you are not separate from it. You are not even a guest within it. You simply are it, for as long as you remain willing to lie here and listen. And you are willing. The willingness itself feels like the greatest gift you have ever given yourself. No striving, no improvement plan, no 5-step process, only the radical permission to be still, to be held, to be breathed by the same wind that has breathed forests into existence since the beginning of green. Another wave comes, longer and fuller than any before it, starting somewhere so distant you cannot guess the source. Traveling across ridges and valleys, gathering the voices of 1,000 different trees, 1,000 different leaf shapes, 1,000 different shades of green turned silver black in the moonlight until it finally reaches the clearing and pours itself over you in one slow, magnificent cascade of sound and motion and cool scented air. Your entire nervous system sighs in recognition. Every cell drinks in the wave, every synapse quiets, every memory of hurry fades a little more. The wave passes, and in its wake, there is only deeper quiet, deeper safety, deeper permission. You drift now on the outermost edges of sleep, that liminal place where images are not yet dreams, but only suggestions of dreams. Fleeting impressions of soft green light filtering through branches, of water moving over stone, of wind braiding itself through needles, of moonlight resting on closed eyelids like a benediction. None of the impressions ask to be remembered, none demand to be interpreted. They simply appear and disappear like ripples on a still pond, leaving the pond even stiller than before. And so the night continues. Wave after wave, breath after breath, silence after silence, until the very last trace of separation between you and the peaceful forest has melted away completely, leaving only the single, unbroken experience of rest so profound, so natural, so ancient, that it feels like the original state from which all other states arise, and to which they will one day return. You are already there. You have always been there. The forest simply reminded you, and it will keep reminding you softly, tirelessly. As this story fades away, let your thoughts drift, your body relax, and may you fall into the deepest, calmest sleep. Good night.